Happy Catholic Schools Week. It's Father Nathan here from my office, formerly the 7th and 8th grade homeroom. Today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to make a corded rosary. And just a little bit of string and a crucifix and some knots that you're going to tie. So we'll go ahead and walk through the process here. And I've been told for a YouTube video I'm supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe we'll make this a viral hit online. Let's go ahead and get started. All that you'll need to make your rosary is the string that we provided for you and the crucifix, and also a pencil that we'll use to help, and scissors to cut the extra string at the end. We're going to start our rosaries by making the first Hail Mary bead. So first find the two ends of your string, and then hold them together so you can find the midpoint of your string. So you want to find a spot right about in the middle. Make this loop here. Then you're going to take your pencil, you'll stick it through so the loop is hanging over the pencil like this. Then you're going to take the string on the right side, you're going to wrap it over the pencil once, just like that, so you have a little X. Then you're going to do it again, and a third time. So you should have 3 loops hanging over this string right here. Then you're going to want to find the end of the same string that you've been using, the same side. So you'll find the end over here, just like this. You're going to carefully slide your loops off of the pencil, but try to hold them so that you can still see through the loops like this. So you want to be very careful that you can still see through all 3 loops. And you're going to take the end and you're going to stick it through the back of those loops, just like so. And keep holding onto this knot as you pull this string through. Once it gets to there, you're going to tighten the knot. You're going to hold it between your 2 fingers and just kind of keep pulling the rope and moving your fingers closer together. Pull the string apart and move your fingers closer together to keep that knot tight. As you tighten your knot, it'll come to something just like that. So there we have our first Hail Mary bead. You can pull it again on both sides, pull it into the center to make it nice and tight together. Once you have your first Hail Mary bead, then it's time to move on to the second. So for this time, the easiest way is to get your pencil just ready, and just once again, you're going to hold your thumb right over that first Hail Mary knot. You'll put the string over the pencil again, and then you're going to go back over it once, twice, 3 times. Same thing we just did. So you have the string there, going over it 3 times. And you're going to slide the loop off again, carefully. Hold on to your loops so you can see through them. Get the end of your string and put it through once again, just like that, through the back. Keep holding your knot while you pull. And this time, when you're tightening the knot, you want to make sure to try to get it about as close as possible to that first bead. So you make sure to kind of pull from this end more. Just be careful to kind of keep it tight. Keep the knot tight as you're pulling. Keep pushing it next to your first one. Pull this string on the right to tighten it. You'll have your 2 Hail Mary beads. Now when you're making these beads, it's easy to mess up once, so don't worry about it. Just if you do 1 too many loops or your loops come loose, you can just start over again. As long as you don't pull anything too tight, it should be easy to undo. You're just going to keep making your loops just like this. So you see there my loops got a little messy, so I'll just pull it clean. I'll try again. So I'm going to put my thumb on that last Hail Mary bead I did, put the string over, and then come back over once, twice, 3 times, just like that. Pull the loops off carefully, and hold on to them. Then I'm going to find the end of my string, bring it on through those loops I made, just like that. And then to tighten, I'm just going to make sure to hold it close together, but to make sure I'm pulling this one on the right as I'm pushing that knot closer together. So pulling and pushing it together at the same time. There's my 3 Hail Mary knots. So you're going to do this to get 10 in a row. Once you have all 10 of your Hail Mary beads for this decade, it's time to put in an Our Father bead. I always recommend counting once again, just to make sure that you don't end up with a decade with either 9 or 11 beads. So I recount 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're good to go on that. Another thing I want to mention is that spacing is one of the most difficult parts of making rosaries, especially the first time. It takes a lot of practice to be able to get your beads kind of this tight and this even. So be patient with yourself as you're going through the first time. It's going to be a little bit difficult. I remember my first time I had a huge amount of space between some beads and some were too close together. It's just something you're going to get better at with practice. But to move on to the Our Father bead, we're going to start at the end of our decade here. I'm going to do, once again, it's pretty much the same knot with just a couple more loops, just a little bit bigger for the Our Father bead. So I always leave myself some more space from that last bead. Instead of putting it right next to it, I'll leave a little space. Then you're going to go over the pencil. You're going to make 1 loop, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, it's the same as that Hail Mary, except instead of 3 loops, we're putting 5 on it this time. That makes it a lot harder when you take it off the pencil to hold the knot just like you need it to. So be patient, and if you have to redo it a couple times, that's okay. We'll see if I can get it the first try. See, there's my loops. I'll try to hold it very carefully. Find my end there. And take it up through the back again. Just like with the Hail Mary beads. So there's my 5 loops. I'll pull my string through while I keep holding the knot. Like I said, as you tighten it, you're going to hold it close together. And you want it to be near this last Hail Mary knot, but not right next to it. Just to make it clear that there's a little bit of space there for the Our Father bead. So again, I'm pulling from this side to tighten. Holding my fingers right here to hold the knot and pulling from this side to tighten. There's my Our Father bead. So you see there's a little bit extra space there, unlike the Hail Mary beads, and it's just a little bit bigger than the other beads. So there's the Our Father bead. Then we're going to go to the other side of the decade. We're going to put in another one. I'm going to move my strings really quickly. So leave a little bit of space. Go over the pencil. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push them tight so I can hold that knot. I'm actually going to find the end of my string before I go too far. There it is. Okay, hold that knot tight. Just like that. If it's easier, you can hold it with those 2 fingers. But I need my right hand to get through the loop, so I'm going to hold it with my left. There's just enough space to get that string through. Keep holding it while I pull it tight. Then we're going to put my fingers here where I want it to stay. And I'm going to use these fingers to push it and these two fingers to pull. So I'm going to pull and hold it there. Keep pulling and push a little bit more where I want it. Put my fingers here to hold it and pull tight on the string to make it a tight knot. So there we have an Our Father bead, 10 Hail Marys, another Our Father bead on the end. And this is actually the third decade in the Rosary, because we'll bring the ends together in the end to make that middle. So once you have this, you should be able to make the next 2 decades on this side of the string, and then 2 more decades on this side of the string. So you'll do, on this side, we'll put in 10 Hail Mary beads, an Our Father bead, and then 10 more Hail Mary beads, but don't put on that last Our Father bead. And on this side of the decade, same thing. We're going to put 10 more Hail Mary beads, an Our Father with 5 loops, and then 10 more Hail Marys, and then we're going to leave the end open so we can tie it together at the end. Once you've done all that, it'll be time to make the knot that'll connect it and make an actual rosary loop instead of just the chain that we have. So before I show you that, we'll just go through again what we should have at this point. We should have some extra string here on the end, 10 Hail Mary beads, an Our Father, 10 Hail Marys, an Our Father, 10 Hail Marys, 1 Our Father, 10 Hail Marys, 1 Our Father, 10 Hail Marys. So there should be 5 decades with 4 Our Fathers in between them. So you're going to find the 2 ends where the last of your Hail Mary beads come together, like right here. You're going to pull all the extra string over. So this is where my 1st and 5th decades end. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a loop with both the strings held together like this. So loop just like that, both the strings held together. Then you're going to reach into that loop and pull through all of that extra string. So you just basically want a little knot just like that, with both strings used together. And once again, we're going to just pull it tight. And make sure to pull each string separately to tighten. You'll see there, I've tied my strings together, both ends of that chain. Now, I have an actual rosary loop, like so. So once you've got your rosary loop, now it's time to finish off. So the first thing will be to figure out which of your 2 extra strings is longest. So for me, it's this one. Then I'm going to take the shorter one, going to hold it off just like this, and very carefully cut it about as close to that knot as I can get. If you need to ask for help for that, that's okay. It's a lot easier when you have more than 2 hands. So just cut it about as close to that knot as I can get. Make sure that knot's tight so it's not going to slip out, but it'll still hold. Then I just have this one longer piece to finish off the rosary with. Once again, from that connecting knot, I'm going to leave some space, and then I'm going to do a normal Our Father bead with the 5 loops, just like you've already done 4 times before. So once you've got that Our Father bead in, you'll put in 3 more Hail Marys and 1 more Our Father bead. So then you should have where your loop comes together right here, Our Father bead, 3 Hail Marys, 1, 2, 3, another Our Father. Now is the final knot, which is one of the more difficult ones. So first you're going to slide your crucifix onto your string from the end. I've already got mine put on there. And you fold back this end like this. So you have a loop. So here's the last Our Father bead on the end. Then your string with the crucifix on the end like this. You're going to hold these 2 strings together, these 2 parts of the string. You're going to make a loop, just like that, with the crucifix hanging over. Let me redo that so you can see it better. Make a loop. The 2 pieces of string held together. I'm going to bring that end with the crucifix through the loop. So you get a knot kind of like this, kind of like what we did earlier. Just a knot with a loop there. The tricky part is that now we want to slide that knot so there's not so much space here between that last Our Father bead and the crucifix. So you're first going to try to slide it down as much as you can just with your fingers like this. You're going to find this string with that Our Father bead on it. You're going to try to push it through so you can just pull that string only and pull that knot. See how I pulled that knot even closer to that Our Father bead? Sorry, I'm losing visual on my camera there. And you're going to bring that extra loop through and pull on this side with the crucifix. So now you have that knot about where you want it. A lot closer than Our Father bead. But now we need to bring our crucifix closer. So we're going to start on this other end. This is just the extra string that's hanging off. You're going to push that through a little bit to find where it is. And you're going to pull on that loop that you just made. So you can pull out that extra length in that loop with the crucifix. See, as I pull this, crucifix is getting closer. So you're going to recenter the crucifix and keep pulling it closer and closer. So I've pulled that pretty much tight. Now I'm going to take this extra string and finish pulling that loop out. So you see I've got it a little bit tighter there. A little bit closer to that knot where I want it, and the crucifix closer. And you can even play with it a little bit more and get a little bit tighter if you want to. The trick is just trying to figure out which string and which part of the string you're going to try to pull from. Pulling it until you get where you want it. Just a little bit more there, and I'll pull my extra. Then, once you got that knot where you want it, pull it all the way tight. And once again, you're going to find your extra string. You're going to cut it about as close to that knot as you can. Make sure everything's pulled tight. And then, get that extra string out of the way. We have a rosary. I wanted to try showing one more time that last knot with the crucifix, just because that one's a little tricky. So let's pretend that this is a rosary all the way done, those Hail Marys and that last Our Father bead here. We slide the crucifix onto the string through the loop, just like that. We're going to pull this string together, just like that. So there's that last Our Father bead. Hold both of those parts of the string together really close, like they're just one. The crucifix there at the end. So holding those two strings together, we're going to make a loop like that. See how they're close together? And we're going to bring that crucifix in through the loop. You don't want to tighten it too much right now, because we've got to adjust where it is. So we see there's the last Our Father bead right there. There's the knot, and there's the crucifix. So the first way to move the knot is just kind of push it with your fingers and get it a little bit tighter, but not too tight yet. And like I tried to show, you take that string with the Our Father, kind of pull it back through the knot a little bit, just to loosen just that little part there. Just bring it around and pull it in through here. So now we've got the knot a little bit tighter again next to that Our Father. Now we need to shrink this loop. So we go back over here. We take this extra piece that we're going to cut off. We want to pull the rest out through here. So we have to loosen the knot a little bit first. It's easier with fingernails. And if you're pulling the right string, it'll be that extra piece that we're going to be cutting off. So you see how when I pull this, that extra string moves? So instead of pulling this side, I'm going to try to pull everything out through this side. That's going to shrink my big loop around my crucifix. So as I pull here, pulling this part away from the knot, that loop with the crucifix shrinks. See that? Pull that about as tight as I can. And then, once I've gotten this big extra loop around the knot, I can go back to that extra string. Pull this to make that knot as tight as it can be. See how I moved that knot? So we have that final Our Father bead, and the new knot we just made, holding the crucifix on. And that extra piece gets cut off. Once you finish your rosary, the final step is to bring it to a priest or a deacon so we can bless it to be used, and that it may bring blessings to all who pray with it and may draw them closer to God. So we'll go ahead and bless this rosary. And for your rosaries, I invite you to bring it to Sunday Mass some week, or bring it to school, and then when you see one of the priests, Father Brokaw or myself, or a deacon, you can bring it up to them and ask them to bless it. We'd be happy to bless your rosaries anytime. May Almighty God bless this rosary. May He bless all who pray with it, always drawing them closer to His Son, Jesus Christ, especially through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. We ask you, Lord, to bless this rosary. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And we'll be happy to do the same for yours. God bless.